So today we've got a CV shaft replacement and wheel hub replacement on the 2020 Hyundai Santa Fe. So I'll go through the steps on how to get everything apart and how to get the CV shaft out and the hub out. Left front, just the left front. Be back shortly. In order to take the CV shaft out, the first thing you need to do is take the underbelly off. This part right here. A couple 10mm bolts. So once you get the bolts and the clips off, I use one of these tools to get the clips off. There's about 6 clips and about 8 to 10 bolts. The next step is to disconnect the left front tie rod end, 19mm nut, and a hammer, smack it out of its spot. So I'm going to do this video a little bit differently. I'm not going to record every single ever-loving step. I'm just going to explain it to you. So once the tie rod end is loosened and you hit it with a hammer, you'll knock it out, swing it to the side, put the bolt back on, disconnect your ABS wires so you have no issues later, and then that'll give you room to swing. You're going to loosen up this nut here, and then I might just take out and there's a washer on the bottom here, so make sure the washer goes on the bottom because it just fell down, so off the knuckle. So I'll just put that there just so I won't forget. Take out this 10mm right there to get the ABS wire out of the way. I'm replacing the hub and the CV shaft, making some ungodly noise, so let me get to it. So I got the ABS wire out. Now I'm taking the knuckle off for the caliper mount. 17mm. Secure the hardware. Make sure you get your washers. Just take it off, and then gotta grab my hook and hang it. Hold on. No problem. Get yourself a couple of these. Hang it, and then come on, that way you don't put any stress on the brake hose. Take out these 2 bolts right here, get the rotor off. So usually I have my impact driver to loosen these, but these were already loosened prior to me working on this because I did a brake job not too long ago. So a number 2 or number 3 bit will fit in there and get the screws out, secure them, smack it with a hammer, and whoa. So this hub is coming off. This nut is a 32mm. Take it right off. And then on the inside here we got some Allen heads. So as soon as I get to that point, I'll tell you what the next step is. So I got the 4 bolts out. You're gonna have to use a breaker bar to break them first because they're pretty damn tight. And that's that. Once that's out, take that hammer, smack it a few times. Oh, baby. And there we go, hub is out. Next step is to replace the CV shaft. So there's 2 ways to go about this. Depending on your year, make, and model, you can do it like this. You can take that cotter pin out and take it out by the ball joint, or if you have this style with the 3 bolts underneath, it's just easier to separate this. Use a pry bar, pull down on the control arm, and swing it out of the way. Just for the record, these are T60 Torx biggies, T60. So I had to get Biggie out swing down. I actually took it out at the ball joint, just a little bit easier to maneuver. Once you get to that point, you can swing the knuckle out towards you. I'm doing this with one hand, so let's see. All right, CV shaft is out of the hub. Clean it up before it's reassembly, lube it up, make it nice and clean. And then now I'm going to go on the other side and pop the CV shaft out. So they give you a little slot right up in there to take a pry bar, pop the CV shaft. I just popped it out. One of the easier ones. Thanks, Hyundai. Appreciate that. So I've got my old part, my new part. I'm going to reinstall the new hub first in there after I clean it up, and reinstall the CV shaft after the fact. Don't want to really wrestle with the CV splines and everything, so I just rather put this in first, then reinstall the CV shaft, make life easy. So on my CV shaft, I put a little bit of lube on the splines just to aid in installation. So it'll go in, and sometimes you got to use a little bit of force. So what I'm end up doing is putting it halfway in, getting it all lined, and put the nut back on the shaft and tap it in with a dead blow to make sure it's seated. So basically everything goes in reverse order. CV shaft is installed, spindle nut is installed. I'll retorque that in a moment once I get the wheel on the ground. I'll send torx. I'll put torque specs in for the hardware. I use my Milwaukee. I trust my gun. I'm pretty sure it's goddamn tight, but I'll do it the right way for the YouTube, so I don't get all those gnarly comments. So the spindle nut is torqued, and don't forget to peen it. Put a dent in that jimmy so it don't come back the other way. So pretty much make sure you put your ABS sensor back in, the clip back in this place. The washer that I found earlier falling off the ball joint goes right underneath the nut there. Then you have a little under the weather. Your caliper mount bolts, those are tight. Make sure your washers are in there. Everything you take off, put back on. You shouldn't have anything left over. The end.